Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today I'll be talking about the New York Jets, the Sam Darnold evaluation, what's the plan there, and so on and so forth. But before we get started today, I just wanted to mention you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever it is that you get your podcast, and merch to the store, or link to the merch store, that just made no sense coming out of my mouth, is down in the description below. All right, so Ian Rappaport had a tweet yesterday that came out and said the Jets will do evaluations on the quarterback class this year before they make a final decision on Sam Darnold. So let's play the clip a little bit.
No, the Jets are in a great position whether or not they either keep Sam Darnold or take a quarterback with the number 2 overall selection. But here are their plans going forward. We've already seen 3 starting quarterbacks get traded this year, which never happens by this time, causing people to wonder, is Sam Darnold next? It does not sound like he is. The New York Jets want to make sure they fully evaluate all their quarterback options before making a decision whether or not to trade Sam Darnold or what they're going to do. That includes, I'm told, going to and studying the pro days of all the top draftable quarterbacks. That extends through late March is when Justin Fields' pro day is. That means do not expect the Jets to make any decision on Darnold till they get through all of that. In fact, they could even take this up to the draft, forcing some team who misses out on the quarterback they want to have to trade for Darnold and maybe give the Jets a better price than they would have gotten just because of the timing element of it being close to the draft.
So what does this mean? The Jets will probably be attending the pro days of Wilson, Fields, and Lance before coming to their final decision. They are going to look at these guys, rank them, and then say, okay, how do they compare to Sam Darnold, where we had him as a prospect and where we have him now? That seems to make a ton of sense. Whatever side of the fence you line on, you should be okay with them doing their due diligence on this, which is the most important position in football, and the most important decision that they have this offseason is what they do at the quarterback position. And someone like me, I lean towards taking the quarterback. Some other people lean towards keeping Sam Darnold. And again, like I said, whatever side of the fence you fall on, you have to realize that the Jets are going to go through this process very slowly, take their time, so they make the right decision for the organization this year and beyond. So it's going to take a little bit of a while. And if you look at when the pro days are, this is going to put the Jets' timeline at the end of March. So I don't think we see a Sam Darnold trade before free agency at this point, which is in the middle of March. So that makes things a little bit complicated. I wanted to get into that briefly here in this video. If free agency is set to start in mid-March and not all of the quarterback pro days have been attended yet or happened yet, then that puts the Jets in a little bit of a predicament because they still have to decide who they want to sign to fill out their roster. Now, one of the benefits, I guess, will be that no matter who the quarterback is, they know the kind of system that they are going to be running in this West Coast style of offense. We know that Darnold probably could theoretically run it. Wilson, Fields could probably run it too. So maybe that's not as big of a deal. But like the thing I think about with Sam Darnold, he doesn't have as good of a deep ball as Justin Fields or Zach Wilson. Both those two quarterbacks specifically are able to get down the ball down the field really well. That's one of the strengths of their game. So maybe they would go a different direction in that sense. But overall, the theme here is that they likely are going to get skill position players in here or any type of free agents, that are going to be similar no matter who the quarterback is. So that could be an added plus in this situation, that it's yes, ideally you would say, okay, come sign here so you can play with the rookie quarterback, or come sign here so you can play with Sam Darnold, or come sign here so you could play with Deshaun Watson. But no matter what, unless they trade for Watson, because then I think that changes everything, they are probably going to have a plan in place for guys that they are looking for on the offensive line, on wide receiver, tight end, running back, wherever they want to go in free agency. I think there's going to be a plan already there. And yes, honestly, this could go over to the draft. We heard Ian Rappaport say it himself that potentially this could carry over to the NFL draft, and maybe they get a team to bite on a trade after, let's say they take a quarterback at 2 or wherever they take their quarterback, and they want to trade Sam Darnold at this point. Maybe there's a team who doesn't feel comfortable with a Mac Jones or a Kyle Trask and say, you know what, I'll take a swing on Sam Darnold, and you can get a pick that way. I think in a perfect situation, you make your decision and make a trade before that so you can get the most value for him. The point here is, in this offseason, it's going to be slow developing. And while I am very much ready for this quarterback conversation to be over with, it's still a long way to go to April. And we're probably going to have another 4, 6, 8 weeks of this at least before we have some sort of idea what the Jets are doing. And like I said in the podcast yesterday, I don't think that anyone knows right now what the Jets are really doing. I don't even think the Jets know themselves because they haven't finished their evaluation process. They still got to go through Wilson. They still got to go through Fields. They still got to go through Lance, and then compare them to Sam Darnold and see where they are at this point and where they have them as prospects. It's going to be a long, long, long road. So buckle up, Jets fans. If you're on Twitter, you know the conversation's running rampant every single day, and it's going to continue until we finally figure out what the heck is going on. But that's going to do it for now. That's an update on the news. That's the biggest story so far in Jetland from yesterday. So get at me in the comments down below what you think about it, or on social media. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you are new, and I'll talk to you next time.